our exclusive was that United are looking at Newcastle in the summer with very beady eyes on people like Tonali, Bruno G and Anthony Gordon, because they feel that Newcastle without Champions League football are vulnerable, and those players are going to be angling for a move. And Tonali fits perfectly as a replacement for Casemiro. We then had Mike McGrath in the Telegraph yesterday afternoon confirming that he's high on the list. So, look, there's credibility to that story as far as I'm concerned, whether you want to believe it or not. However, this morning I don't even know where it's coming from. I've seen a few people this morning saying that Tonali wants to go back to Italy. This is within 24 hours of it being confirmed that United are in for Tonali and interested in Newcastle players. And 24 hours later, we're hearing that Tonali wants to go back to Italy and is effectively snubbing Manchester United. Now, this is spin. This is unfounded. This is nonsense. This is a story being spun by somebody who wants some credibility or wants to change the narrative. There is nothing to suggest that Tonali wants to go back to Italy. There's nothing to suggest that he's leaving Newcastle. All there is Manchester United lining up a transfer for Tonali if and when he becomes available in the summer. We're not in advanced talks. He's not snubbed us. And he's not put a transfer request in to go back to Italy. So just chill out. It's another name for the list. Whether it's Belieber, Wharton, Stiller, Anderson, Tonali, it's another credible name for the list. That spin to say we've been snubbed because he wants to go back to Italy. And can we just hold on for a minute? Because I think sometimes there is a rush to move from a story to another story. There is a rush to move from right to left. Sometimes we can just say, Tonali's on the list, let's see what happens. It's early February. We don't need to go from he's on the list to he's off the list in 24 hours. He's on the list. He's a player that we're looking at. I've just realised I shouldn't be saying he's on the list at this current time and climate. Saying someone's on the list, I've just realised is not the best use of terms. But he's not on that list. He is on Manchester United's transfer list, and he is a player that Man United are looking at. He hasn't snubbed us because he wants to go back to Italy. I mean, Tonali's Italian and he wants to go back to Italy. It's like saying Xerxes wants to go back to Italy because he played in Italy and he's not even Italian. But what I'm saying is, just because he's Italian doesn't mean he wants to go back to Italy. And also, he's under contract at Newcastle. It's preposterous that this would even be a story. The guy signed for Newcastle from AC Milan. He was suspended for a huge amount of time. I would expect there's a huge amount of respect for Newcastle and Newcastle Football Club because of them supporting him when they spent a lot of money on him. I mean, he cost them about 60 million quid. So he's not cheap. They've stood by him. And also, let's get real. He has got a couple of years left on his contract. What Italian club is able to pay Tonali more than 150 grand a week and give Newcastle 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 million pounds? It's not happening. So whether he wants to go back to Italy or not, it ain't happening anyway. So sometimes you just got to look at the story and go, bullshit! Why are we spinning a story that's a positive story into something that's not true and negative? So look, this is why I love this community, because we discuss things and we talk it through. The next thing I want to talk about is there's some good comments in the live chat. I'm going to talk about those super chats in a minute, but we've sort of got a few good stories to get into this morning, and we can sort of come back on some of them. Obviously, got the Gary Neville update. There's actually talk of Michael Carrick being an option for other clubs as well. But I wanted to just talk about this as well and throw this into the equation. It was about Manchester. It came out yesterday. Couple of stories actually, both transfer related, but it came out yesterday that Manchester United are exploring a move for Bournemouth centre-back Marco Senesi, and it came out from Italian reports that Manchester United were looking at him. Now it's not the first time, it's not even the second time that we've been linked to him. Now I believe he is out of contract in the summer. Currently 28 years of age. He'll be 29 in May. Argentinian, actually, not actually Italian. I think some people think he's Italian. Came into Bournemouth in 2022 from Feyenoord. Has 2 caps for Argentina. contract situation, out of contract in the summer and won't renew. So it's a free deal for a 29-year-old centre-back who plays for Bournemouth and is more and more regularly being linked with Manchester United. Don't do it. Don't do it. In my opinion, don't do it. This is not the centre-back Manchester United should be looking at. I actually don't rate him. I know Bournemouth have been quite good, but I actually don't rate him. I don't think he's that good. I mean, I watched them play against Man City in the autumn, and he was at fault for both goals, wandering out of position in a back. They were playing a high line as well, and there's no doubt he's a steady he's a steady Premier League centre back, but he's not Harry Maguire. Like he's not Johnny Evans. He's not. Yeah, I don't think he's definitely not an upgrade on Martinez and De Ligt, and he'd be a barrier to Yoro in heaven. So I think when we are, Couch Potato disagrees with me. Well, tell me why you disagree. He was shocking in the game against City. It's probably an unfair pilot for him, to be fair, or sample. But you know, sometimes a signing inspires you and gets you excited, and sometimes you look at a signing and you go, I can see the potential in it. And then sometimes you look at a signing and you go, that's meh. And I'm sort of like, it's a meh signing. He's like 29 in the summer, so you're going to get maximum 2 or 3 years out of him. And he's a bench filler straight away. I don't. It's just a meh signing, you know. I understand why Man United might be interested in him. He's Premier League proven and he's cheap. He's a centre back and he's cheap. And I'm not saying. I don't think Harry Maguire probably should stay at Man United in the summer. I think there's a case to say he should move on. But I don't think Senesi for Maguire is necessarily the sort of upgrade I'd want. I'm not saying Senesi wouldn't give us more years. And I'm not saying Senesi can't compete with Harry Maguire. But it just seems like quite a dull. Well, yeah, I agree with Mini Brew. We can do better. It just seems like a bit of a meh signing, you know. Wouldn't rule it out. I think the fact that he's free and cheap will always make somebody rise to the top at Manchester United. I mean, look, the way I look at Man United is if you take them out for a meal and everyone's paying for themselves, and it's a Friday night and you look at the best steak on the menu and it's 50 quid with all the trimmings and you go, there you go. When they take Man United's order, they're probably looking at what's the cheapest thing that they like. So they probably just go for a bowl of chips or something like that and a glass of water from the tap. They're cheap and they love to be cheap when they can be. That doesn't mean we won't spend big when we need to. If it's a shirt seller or a player that's, you know, wants to come to the club, we will spend money. But I think the attraction of Senesi will be he's cheap in a position where they don't want to spend a lot of money. Man United are going to want to spend their budget on midfielders, maybe a left back, maybe a left winger. The centre-back, if they can find somebody cheap, they will look for them. And as Gaz United says, that's a squad player at best. So, look, the Senesi links are... I'm not going to bring stuff in unless I'm going to laugh at it that's not credible or viable or realistic. There's no doubt that Senesi of Bournemouth is out of contract in the summer. He's Premier League proven. And as a centre-back to come in and boost our roster for free, they might look at it. He'd probably be appealing. You know, Bournemouth to Man United would probably be very appealing. But it seems a little bit... meh to me, as I said. But it doesn't mean we won't do it. What I would say about Bournemouth is if you're looking at players at Bournemouth, I think Scott, Truffert, Tyler Adams, maybe even Krupe, to be honest. But they've got players at Bournemouth that I definitely would look at ahead of Senesi.